All right, so this is just after recording the Siege X video, and I wanted to go ahead and just put my thoughts together about how I feel about Dual Front because I wanted to go more in depth about how I feel about it and things like that. So let's get started. What even is Dual Front? It's essentially just the new permanent mode that is coming to Rainbow Six Siege during the launch of Year 10 Season 2, otherwise known as Siege X. Complete engine overhaul, and we're getting some pretty good improvements. If you want to hear more about that, I talked about it in the last video, but I'm going to go ahead and give a brief recap while I'm still here. Better audio, better lighting, better engine compilation, so things will actually run much more smooth, and we're able to get more mechanics that we wouldn't have been able to in the old Siege engine. So, dual front. 6v6, one giant massive map. You can attack and defend on both sides, and you can play as both attackers and defenders. However, the pool that you're actually able to play with in terms of these attackers and defenders is curated by Ubisoft and will change season to season. There is also a middle section that sort of plays kind of like a MOBA. Think things like League of Legends and other things of that nature, where essentially you can complete a neutral objective and get bonus rewards for it. What is the bonus reward? Well, at least from what we've seen so far, the only bonus reward is that you get 2/3 objective progress on your next objective or the one that you are currently holding. So, say you capture a part of the enemy's objective and you have 1/3 of it done. If you were to capture the middle objective, that would just auto complete. And it is kind of crazy. So, being a 6v6, which is one more than what we're used to, and a respawn game mode, it actually plays a lot better than I thought it ever would have. And to be honest, it's probably one of my favorite game modes in a long time coming out of Siege. I know it was just a beta that we played, but it really felt that good. The gunplay felt like it was responsive. The gun sounded amazing, by the way. The new audio system is doing wonders, and I can actually hear where the enemies are coming from. I'm getting on a tangent again. Good job, me. Um, so dual front. I actually think it'll be an amazing way to spice up the Siege gameplay formula, but I don't think it's going to be that much of a major pull for Siege. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be bad at all. I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I don't think that a majority of people that are playing Siege right now are going to make a dual front their new game mode or something like that when it does launch. I think it's going to be fun content that'll break up the monotony of having to play the same maps over and over with like very similar lineups over and over because we all know how people on the internet are. They only take one thing. If it works, they only do that one thing. Now, this is not bashing dual fronts at all. This is just something that happens because people on the internet play games on the internet. But in all honesty, dual front is really interesting enough that I probably will see myself coming to play it every now and then. Like I get some bad teammates in ranked and I just want to cool off. I just want to go out and shoot people. I'll play dual front. Or I just feel like, really tinkering with my brain and seeing what an operator is capable of, I'll go play dual front. It's a really fun it's a really fun environment. It's an environment that encourages you to think differently about how you would play Siege. Yeah, you can just run around and shoot people in dual front game mode, but that's not inherently the best way to play either. It is probably going to be the most popular though. Also, this is a complete side note, but I just want to talk about in the dual front beta, whose fucking idea was it to make Callie an operator on this? Callie, the fucking operator that is, I hold down an entire sight line with my big fuck off sniper rifle. Like, it basically just made attacking the rooftop of the final objective impossible because all I would encounter is the same motherfuckers camping on the rooftop on rappel, just watching the fucking angle for the rooftop. And then I'd have to go all the way around. And guess what? They'd have a fucking claymore. It was dumb. It was really dumb, but looking back on it now, it was kind of funny. So I didn't actually explain how the objectives in Dual Front work. Essentially, both teams, Alpha and Bravo, yes, that's their names. They're not attackers and defenders. It's Alpha and Bravo. Have their own set of objectives, and you basically share the same objectives. You need to protect your prototype and base from the other team. And essentially, what you do is when you pick an operator, you can choose to either attack the enemy's base or protect your own base. Essentially, the bases are miniature versions, I guess, of like maps. They're a little bit smaller, but they're still buildings, so they still have that siege feeling to them. And you need to plant this diffuser type of gadget. And essentially, this diffuser gadget is going to make progress. And think of it like you're kind of diffusing the bomb. However, when you capture certain intervals of the enemy's objective, such as 33 and 66%, which is what it is exactly, you will keep progress if the diffuser is destroyed. For instance, if you were to get 50% of the total objective done and they kill you and they manage to break the diffuser, you will retain 33%. You will have achieved the first tick on that enemy base objective. Now, when you do that, you can also do, like I mentioned earlier, capture the middle objective and then completely knock that objective out. Or you can try and brute force your way to capture the rest of that objective. And then while that next objective is on a cooldown to open up, which is how it works, that way the defenders that were defending the base have the time to pull out and go back to the next objective. You can capture the middle objective and have 2/3 of the progress already on that objective, which makes attacking it so much easier. In a majority of the time that I played in the dual front beta experience, I was actually a defender most of the time, simply because I had like 5 teammates that would only want to attack, and I end up going like 10-2, 12-3, and all these like crazy high kill counts because I somehow managed to defend a tiny ass room by myself. I don't know how I do it to this day, but it's one of the great mysteries of life. Somehow Sin pops the fuck off, even though he has the attention span of a fruit fly. Dual Front essentially shines in having a siege brain. If you think about things, if you go, well, what could you do with this operator? You'll probably like Dual Front. I never thought that certain operators would actually be way better on attack. For instance, the rare times that I actually played attack and when my teammates had like 4 people defending, I actually went to attack and I played Doc. I know, since playing Doc, something's wrong, but bear with me. Um what happened is I actually found out that Doc can probably be one of the most aggressive attackers on Dual Front, simply because of the fact that he can take a gunfight, immediately stem himself, and then be ready for the next gunfight with his MP5 or his P90, whichever one you swing with. But this idea of both attackers and defenders can play on both sides really opens some unique combinations. For instance, Osa makes for a really good defender because she's got these talon shields that you can now see through, and you have to look through the tiny gaps of the defender shields. And she's got this attacker grade SMG that is just phenomenally good against like even other attackers. Like for an SMG, it's insane. But the thing is, we probably, at least right now, won't know what's coming in the next season after Year 10 Season 2 in terms of what operators are going to be in their rotation and what aren't. But what we do know is it probably won't be anybody, at least from my experience, it probably won't be anybody like Vigil or Nook, simply because the way that drones work in Dual Front. And I guess I should start talking about that now. So you do get drones in Dual Front. Everyone does. You get one drone, but that drone is on a battery timer. So you can only drone for a certain amount of time. And essentially what this does is you can't just sit outside the building and drone the entire time. You have to get in. You have to make a play. By making it so somebody can't sit on their drone the entire time, we're not going to have instances like we have in Core Siege, where one enemy team can entirely have one person, 1 or 2 people even, clear the entire bomb site because 3 of the other people are just sitting on drones the entire time. That is always such like, it's a little ridiculous, but also kind of funny to me at the same time. But I'm getting sidetracked again. The drone change is specifically good for dual front because it incentivizes you to play the video game, experiment, and attack or defend. You can even use your drone as defender, fun fact, and I did that quite a bit, and a lot of people didn't expect it. They got really angry at me, and they called me some very bad things. I'm gonna go ahead and try and wrap this up because I've already been yapping so much as it is. Dual front is going to be really good, and if you don't think it's going to be for you, then there's nothing wrong with that. But what I do say is please at least just try dual front. There's no harm in at least trying something that's new, and if you don't like it, then you don't have to play it again. If you do like it, you can keep playing it. Anyways, I've been CardinalS. I just wanted to share my thoughts about dual front, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.